Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you my top 10 for life. And I'm like kind of nervous because I'm not even sure it is. Like I looked through them. It's really hard to do a top 10. You guys totally understand. It's hard to narrow it down to 10, and especially as the collection keeps growing, there are so many amazing ones. So I tried my best. There's one I'm kind of iffy about. But we're just gonna go with it. So before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button, join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community, and let's get into this. Now, before I get started, I just quickly want to mention Matthew Meleg from Meleg Perfumes. He actually lives in Calgary. He's a very wonderful guy, and he does perfume classes. So he teaches on perfume, the notes of perfumery, all of that kind of stuff. And he is starting a class for the month of August. I think it runs Saturday and Sunday. It's $200, and he is, to me, an excellent teacher. So I have listened to him. I've never taken the class. I have just sat and listened to him talk about fragrance, talk about the notes, different things like that. I'll leave a video link down below where I have a conversation with him about fragrance in case you're interested. He's super interesting, creates very unique fragrances, and has a love for all things artisan. So although he lived in BC for the longest time, in Vancouver, then he moved out to Alberta, but his heart is for Japan. He just loves Japanese culture, loves the sense of honor that is there. He loves the craftsmanship. His perfumes are considered artisan perfumes, and he really takes special care in what he creates. So I really enjoy listening to him talk about notes. I find him very knowledgeable and interesting. I will leave a link to his post on Instagram, and then you, of course, can DM him for extra information if you are interested in taking the class. And of course, my perfume journals, if you're interested in purchasing them, they're also in the description down below, so you could check them out. And let's get into this. I'm curious as to how many of these you guys are going to be able to guess. So out of 10, which ones would you nail? There's one, like I said, I'll share that one at the end. That's going to be number 10 because it could come out of that list very easily. But I'm going to share my first, like the top 2 that I don't think will ever leave this list. I think they're in there for good, and they're also kind of predictable. So I'm going to share the first one that's been on the list the longest, and that would be Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel. So this to me is such a beautiful, classy, traditional, elegant, feminine fragrance. I think that the orange in here is sweet and juicy. You get that orange throughout the whole entire wear of the fragrance, which is so awesome. It's got some woodiness in, there's some vanilla in here, quite sweet. There's some patchouli. I just think it's an absolutely gorgeous fragrance, and it lasts forever. So even though this is on the pricier end of the designer realm, this lasts a good 10 to 12 hours on the skin. So as far as getting excellent sillage, projection, longevity, this one is fantastic. So for value for money, I think that this is an excellent fragrance to go with. It's an everyday occasion fragrance, so you can wear this as a signature fragrance for sure, but it's also elegant enough that you can wear it for, you know, your fancier occasions, and you're going to feel dressed up in it. So love it. The other thing that's cool about this, you put it on during the day, you get more of that sweet kind of orange daytime appropriate fragrance. As it dries down on the skin, you get a little bit more vanillic, a little bit woodier, a little bit more sensual feel, even though it still remains classy. So for me, if I know I'm going to be out all day and into the evening, this is a great fragrance to put on because it's going to smell daytime appropriate, but once you get to the evening and it's still going to be noticeable, you're going to get a little bit more of that vanilla. And this is also a fragrance that men really enjoy. So love this fragrance. And guys, thank you so much for always liking my makeup. Like, it makes me feel so good. So I don't do tutorials because nobody ever watches them. Maybe I'll start doing a few shorts. I have to figure out how to do shorts with makeup. Like, I'm not quite sure how to work it. but I really do enjoy doing makeup. In fact, this channel was a makeup channel originally, and then I quit it for a while, and then I came back to perfume, and everybody seemed to enjoy the fragrance, so that's where we went. But for those of you that are wondering about this eye look, I used kind of a taupey color, just taupey matte in the crease, and then the green comes from this Pat McGrath Mothership Beijou Brilliance Starstruck Splendor blush and eyeshadow palette. So basically I used this dark green here in the very like kind of the outer corner, this mainly all over the lid, and then this color is almost more like a topper. It's got a lot of green flecks, even though it's got pink, so it comes across, I think, more pink, and I just put that in the inner corner. I suggest using some sort of shadow glue for these, because I didn't for the first two, and I've got glitter all over my face. So use a shadow glue, and then I used this color on my cheeks, and I just love it. It feels almost like a glow within. So love this palette. My friend was nice enough to give this to me. I love it. Thank you, Shelly. And let's get back to the perfume. Coco Mademoiselle was the first one. Second one on the list is, of course, Mallow. I love this from Soradora. It's the most delectable violet, raspberry, orange blossomy, marshmallowy, sweet, delicious fragrance there is. I love this fragrance. Somehow I find that violet feels a little bit cooling somehow. This is so feminine. It's so it's sweet and fluffy to me. So I get lots of that kind of marshmallow vibe with raspberry. And then the violet is what makes this just kind of explode into stellar category. This is so, so beautiful. What I find with this one is it makes a perfect signature scent. This is the epitome of me to me. Slightly fluffy, a little bit pink, and happy, feminine, girly. Love it. I love it. But it's still classy and sophisticated at the same time. And as far as, like, I would put this in the same category as something like an Oriana and Sam Gold, Love Don't Be Shy, but this is leagues above it. Like this, somehow with that violet and the raspberry, it's gorgeous. Like, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I absolutely love this one. This one gets me compliments. It lasts a long time. And even when I can't smell it anymore, it projects because I'll have comments on this fragrance. So really, really enjoy this. It's uber feminine. It's sophisticated, yet still kind of flirty and fun. A little bit whimsical, a little bit ethereal somehow. And I just adore this one. Like, it just makes me happy. Mallow. Okay, these next ones are in no particular order. I love them all equally. First, I'm going to talk about Broceliande, being I'm on Soradora kick. This is so mouth-watering. It's so delicious, decadent. It's got caramel. There's lemon, lime, I think maybe a little mint, I'm not sure, but caramel, lemon, lime. There's rum in here too. Those are kind of the prominent notes. So what I get is kind of a boozy, limey, whipped cream drink with caramel drizzled all over the top and some caramel at the bottom. So it smells like a sundae of boozy goodness. I love this. And for me, this feels a little bit more summer appropriate. That said, you could wear it in the fall and the winter. And it gives me the same vibes as something like Lyra, although this is more lime-centric, whereas I feel like Lyra is more lemon-centric. It was a toss-up between the two of them, but this one won out just because like I smell it and my mouth just waters. Now, as far as longevity is concerned, the projection on this on first spray is amazing. Like, it leaves a beautiful trail. If my son puts it on in the bedroom and I walk into the house, I can smell it. And he doesn't overspray at all. If he walks by me, I can smell it, but that lasts about an hour and then it sits actually a little closer to the skin. So this is a great evening type fragrance, especially if you want someone to come in and nuzzle. You want to be a little more subtle, but they come in and then they just don't want to leave your neck. This is perfect for that. Next in my top 10 for life, again, this one's fairly predictable and it is Barakat Gentle Gold by Maison Fragrance World. I don't know if it's because this is affordable that I'm so in love with it, or if it just smells freaking awesome. Now, lots of you have weighed in, and some of you have said, when I first got it, I'm like, what is she talking about? It doesn't smell good. I can't smell it. They let it sit for a couple of months, and then they're like, oh, I just really love it. So many of you have really enjoyed this one. It's basically a balsamic kind of vanilla. So it fits in the same category if you've ever smelt Possessoir, or of course, Gentle Fluidity Gold. Lots of vanilla, a little bit of a fruity vibe. Now this one doesn't have any fruits. It's got, I think, juniper, coriander, things like that. But somehow there's a bit of a fruity opening with vanilla. It's a little bit bordering on tart, yet sweet. I just love it. There's a resinous quality. I think that's where the sweetness is coming for this one. The longevity is moderate on this one. The price is fantastic, like around $40, $50. And I absolutely adore this fragrance. Now, of course, this is inspired by the beautiful Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Gentle Fluidity Gold. So I want to give that the credit. But this is such an excellent, affordable option, and I just think it's stellar. I've got several different inspired versions of that particular fragrance, and this to me, like, even if I didn't know what Gentle Fluidity Gold smelled like, I wouldn't care. Like, to me, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance, and I am so glad I have it in my collection. Next fragrance that is in my top 10 for life is Untamed Perfumes Blackbird. This is the most beautiful, sultry, sophisticated, opulent, woody rose fragrance. There's some spicy notes in here, definitely rose, oud, sandalwood, vanilla. It smells like a rose that has powdered sugar on it, and then some oud that's burning in the background. Super sultry, super sophisticated, very elegant smelling. This is a fragrance that is perfect for kind of the cooler weather, in my opinion. You could wear it anytime, but it's a beautiful rose oud combination. My favorite rose oud combination, to be honest. And I just love the spices in here. I love the sandalwood. This is a fragrance that I imagine wearing when I'm going to like a really fancy evening, although I wear this all year round. I wore it for Christmas one year. It smells very elegant, but like rich. It's a very rich smelling fragrance, super bougie. So I always imagine wearing this. I have this fancy, gorgeous gown on, and I'm going to some sort of very posh Christmas party at a brownstone in New York, and I pull up in a limousine. Someone opens up the door for me. My significant other is in a tuxedo, and then I throw off this beautiful kind of silk cloak that I give to the, I don't know, footmen or whatever. Like, it's basically like a modern day Cinderella fragrance somehow. It's sophisticated, it's sexy, it's totally unisex, so men could wear it too. If you and your significant other walked in with this fragrance, you would be the power couple of New York. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Now, this next one, oh, I love it so much. I love all of these so much, but this one again, what an amazing signature scent it would make, and that is Habibi by Bozo. I know I talk about this one a lot, but it is so beautiful. It's got this gorgeous green note that just makes the whole composition smell so dewy. It's got cherry in it. There's some almond in here, but that green note is what really just sets this fragrance apart, because it makes it smell somehow cool and so sophisticated and elegant. It smells demure. So it smells like a woman that has her hair in this beautiful kind of, how do you pronounce it? Chignon? I don't know, like a loose bun. She's got beautiful kind of delicate jewelry on. She's dressed just perfectly. She's got a little bit of a pump, not too much. Her voice is always slightly soft, but she definitely knows her own mind, and she gets her own way a lot. she smells like this. People just kind of naturally are drawn to her beauty and that calming effect that she has. That's Habibi. It's so, so beautiful. But this one is also like really, like I imagine someone that has it really together. Sophisticated, corporate exec could pull this off. But honestly, this is so beautiful and feminine. It works all year round. Every day, it would be perfect for that. It wouldn't be too cloying in the summer, and it would still project in the wintertime. The cherry in here is very beautiful. Like it's not synthetic smelling. It's just sitting there and you can smell it. It's not like it jumps out at you. It doesn't come across as va-va-voom. It's just a beautiful fruity note paired with that almond. And sometimes almond and cherry can get to be too much, too thick. This is so perfect because of that layer of green that makes it smell kind of dewy. I think that this is literally a masterpiece and I love it so much. I always enjoy wearing it. I don't know if I've ever gotten no, I've gotten one compliment on this, but yeah, I just think it's absolutely beautiful. 4 fragrances left in the top 10 for life is Burberry Goddess. Now, I can't believe this made it into the category, but I figured there had to be one vanilla, and this is the vanilla of all vanillas. Like, first of all, it has three different types of vanilla, which is a lot, but it has some ginger and some cacao in it, which just kind of, the ginger brightens it up a little. Oh, and it has lavender. The ginger and the lavender kind of brighten it up a bit, and then the cacao kind of warms it up a little bit. Those notes kind of keep it from getting too thick, sweet, or much. So a lot of times with vanillas, if they're too sweet, they just make me feel sick to my stomach. But I realize that I do like vanilla, but a lot of times they've got to be paired with some spiciness in it. Otherwise, it feels just too much for me. This one, the primary notes that I get, the notes that really stand out are, of course, the vanilla and then that beautiful lavender. The lavender smells underneath the vanilla. So although lavender can be quite herbaceous and come across a little bit like, sometimes it smells soapy, sometimes it smells a little bit like cleaning products. I don't find that with this. Sometimes it can smell masculine as well. I don't find that with this one at all. What I find is that it just smells very comforting and it's just underneath. So with YSL's Libre, I found that one to be too sharp, that lavender. Even in the intense version, even in the Le Parfum version, I find the lavender to be just slightly sharp and slightly soapy. In this one, it smells like it would be a lavender infused Madeleine or something like that. So it's that kind of vanilla, smells quite sweet, quite sugary, quite mouth-watering, and like it would be a little bit of a cake. But then there's this lavender that's kind of infused into it, which just really balances that vanilla out beautifully. So I love this fragrance. I find the longevity to be fairly moderate, but I find it cozy, but I find it's a fragrance that you can wear summer and winter. I love it when I get a fragrance that works for all seasons, because to me, it's so much more versatile. And for those of you that are purchasing fragrance and you don't want a whole whack of fragrances for every season, something like this is going to satiate that craving for vanilla, but it works all season long. Definitely the lavender is present. So you have to like lavender to be able to like this. Now, I tried to do a bit of a balance between fall, winter, spring, summer, signature scent type fragrances. But the bottom line is that in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, we get about 2 months of summer, and the rest of the time you could pretty much wear fall and winter fragrances all year round because they, it's cold enough. So for the most part, I tend to gravitate towards the fall and winter, I would say, although I thoroughly enjoy summer fragrances, but I find that I have more fragrances that fit into that kind of cooler weather fragrances, and this one is no exception. Definitely top 10 for life. Like, I love this fragrance. And it is Sable Gris by Experimental Perfume Club. When I smell this, I think an heiress that lives in Chicago, and she lives on a huge estate. She's got a huge stable. with tons of horses, and really riding horses is her first love. She never became a professional equestrian jumper or anything like that. However, she really, really loves horses, and she spends a lot of her time going between boardrooms and spending time in the stables. And she always wants to smell very sophisticated, but at the same time, toned down, a little bit earthy, a little bit to the, like she's really into that earthy, woody, a little bit of leather, a little bit of sandalwood kind of vibe, a little bit of a tea-like vibe. So nothing overwhelming, nothing too feminine, powerful, sophisticated, but understated. Sable Gris. So amazing. This has cardamom, oak moss, sandalwood, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, ambroxan, tobacco, leather, musk, vetiver, and pink pepper. So there's no tea, but it kind of gives me a tea vibe. I think like a chai almost, because of the coriander and whatnot in here. But because of that little hint of leather, and it's not too much. So it'd be as if you have this brand new saddle. I don't know if you guys have smelt saddles. I grew up around saddles. I can remember polishing saddles for my dad, and I just loved the smell of the leather. It'd be as if she's been in the barn. You get kind of that vetiver, so almost like a hay-like feel. You can smell a bit of leather on her, but it's not overpowering. It's just a slight hint of leather. I just love this. I think it's so sexy yet elegant. It's gorgeous. This is honestly a signature scent worthy fragrance as well, but it's for a woman that is a little bit more, like, I just imagine someone that's a bit more grounded, a little bit more bold, a little bit more ruthless. It's not me, but I want to smell like her for sure. It's so sexy. And the cool thing is that this is definitely unisex. And this, like, if I smelled this on a dude, oh my goodness, like, yeah, game over if I smelled this on a dude. It smells so freaking good, but on me it also smells so freaking good. So I just absolutely love this fragrance. Seriously, top 10 for life. Two more fragrances for you. So I saved my just barely made it in there for last. But next one that just kind of is in the mix. And well, this one was a little iffy too. Like, there was a few different ways I could go with both of these two. But I really, like, I'm just so digging this fragrance this year. And it is a Baroque Satin Oud by Maison Alhamra. Now, first of all, I love this bottle. I think it's beautiful. I love the blue color. But this is inspired by Oud Satin Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian again. And I just think that this is an excellent rendition. So again, inspired, I want to give the credit to Maison Francis Kurkdjian for sure. But this fragrance is so beautiful. There's a smoky element to this. There's a little bit of an incense or inky vibe to this. This is definitely not blind buy safe. So some of you purchased this and were really unhappy with it. Others of you loved this one. So this is definitely polarizing because of that violet aspect in it being slightly powdery. So whereas Mallow, I don't find it powdery. I find the violet cooling. In this one, I definitely find it to be a little more powdery. But that with the rose in the oud, it's smooth and it feels like velvet. Like, I just imagine having on a dress that's this blue color, but in velvet. And that's the look of what this would smell like somehow to me. So the notes in this are rose, vanilla, oud, benzoin, and violet. And to me, the violet definitely creates this powdery feel around the fragrance. To me, it does smell a little bit inky, a little bit incensey somehow, but I just find this one so sexy. So to me, this is a great date night fragrance, or just, you know, going out to some place like the Symphony or something like this. This is super opulent feeling, but it's somehow cozy and a little bit sweet. Somehow it's just gorgeous. And obviously, like this one, Blackbird, they have that rose oud, and I'm a huge fan of that. So this is super sexy, super opulent, and I paid 18 bucks for this. So I think for the most part, you can get it for about $30, $35 on the gray market sites like Perfume Online, Triple Traders, Frag Bar, different ones like that have this available. I think Fragrance Net does as well, but I just love it. It's such a good price. It's so sexy, sophisticated, and luxe smelling. So love this one, but this is definitely more for those winter evenings. Oh, I just love it. Like I just, again, think of myself in some cloak, but this time it's velvet. I want to own a lot of cloaks. Like inevitably, I must have cloaks. I want silk cloaks. I want velvet cloaks. I want wizard cloaks. Anyway, I like cloaks. I don't wear, well, actually, that's not true. I have several capes. So I guess I'm a cloak cape kind of girl. Anyway, love this fragrance. Totally gorgeous. Very rich and opulent. This is pretty unisex to me as well. But it's definitely, I would say, polarizing because it's quite powdery. Last fragrance, part of my top 10 for life, just squeaked in there, but I couldn't not include it. Like even when I start talking about it, I start petting the bottle, and it is Scandal à Paris. I just really like this fragrance. Out of all of these, this is probably the most flirty and just kind of fun. Great, easy reach, everyday fragrance. I love the jasmine in here and the honey. I love the pear. It's a little bit more fresh, so it keeps this from feeling too thick and cloying. Works well spring, summer, even into the fall and the winter. You're going to get great projection. It lasts about 5 hours. It's an eau de toilette, so the longevity isn't as major as some of the like the original Scandal. That said, this actually lasts longer than So Scandal, which is an eau de parfum. So the longevity is okay, especially considering it's an eau de toilette. I just really enjoy this fragrance. You get a lot of that honey, but to me, it's not too much. It doesn't come across indolic on the skin, and it just makes me feel pretty, and my husband really likes this fragrance. So that's why it's in the top 10 for life for now. But it's, I think, slowly making its way out. I'm halfway through too, so maybe a little more than halfway through. So maybe it's just getting a little bit less exciting because I've had it for a while. That is it. Those are my top 10 for life. I love these fragrances. What about you? First of all, what is your top 10? Please leave it in the comments. And have you tried any of these fragrances? If you have, weigh in, especially about the ones that are a little more polarizing, like Baroque Satin Oud. Ones like that are a little bit more polarizing. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think. And other than that, again, if you're interested in taking that perfume course, learning a little bit more about notes and maybe even how blending works with fragrances, please check out the link, and I'll have Meleg's course information linked down there for you to check out and DM him. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.